the whole nation know, the whole world knows we'll soon have a Republican president in the White House. What do you think about this transition from a Democrat to a Republican, and how do you think, or what do you think that'll mean for Missouri lawmakers?
Well, I'm very excited about to have an opportunity to have a president in the White House who will actually sign our legislation and who will chart a path to help get us moving forward again as a nation. So I was encouraged by the visit yesterday between President Obama and President-elect Trump, and think they're going to work very closely to have a smooth transition of power.
And how do you think having, or you kind of touched on it already, how do you think having Donald Trump as president affect the ability of the House to pass legislation and get things done? You seem generally like everything will be great.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have a president in the White House who will actually support and sign the legislation that we send to him. In the House, we've been working on an agenda called A Better Way that will address the challenges our nation faces, including plans to how to get our economy growing again, have a strong national defense, how to replace Obamacare, tax reform. We've been working on proposals already, and so we are looking forward to getting those enacted and on the president's desk and having Donald Trump sign them into law.
So you kind of touched on some of these policies already. We know what Donald Trump wants to do in his first few months in office. How does that compare with what you and your Republican colleagues want to do? Is there any discrepancy there?
Well, I'm sure we'll be working together to advance these solutions that our country deserves, and so the exact order will be determined later. But you know, we need to remove a lot of the onerous rules and regulations from Washington that are killing our businesses and hurting job growth. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of efforts to roll back some of the rules that are hurting businesses, whether it be some of the clean power plan rules that is causing electricity prices to double here in Missouri, or whether it be actually repealing and replacing Obamacare. There's so much to do, but I'm excited to get started.
I heard that Trump may have said that he just might want to amend Obamacare, and some say he might be softening his views. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, the plan that we have is called A Better Way agenda, and you can go on the website better.gop, and it lays out the plan. But we take some of the best parts of Obamacare that are working, that people like, and we roll it into our comprehensive replacement bill. So in our proposal, we keep that a young person can stay on their parents' insurance policy till they're 26, and we also address pre-existing conditions. And so some of those pieces we've incorporated into our replacement bill, but I'm looking forward to actually repealing Obamacare, but replacing it with something that is much, much better.
Right. And what are your thoughts, or you and your colleagues' thoughts, on his idea to propose a constitutional amendment for term limits on Congress members?
Well, it's something to be discussed, certainly. It is very difficult to change the Constitution, as you know, and so I'm not sure whether that is something that could actually be passed, because it takes 2/3 majority in the House and 2/3 in the Senate, and then 3/4 of the states have to ratify it in order to change the Constitution. So I'm sure it will be discussed, and how far that proposal will get is yet to be seen.
And obviously, you seem to be very supportive of Trump being president. Do you see any obstacles standing in the way of Trump and the House working together?
No, I think it'll be good. He's going to have to, communicate with us, meet with us, but he's already had multiple conversations with House leaders just in the first few days. So I feel confident that he will reach out and we will work together on these policy solutions that the American people need and they deserve.
And as far as some of his more controversial things that have been discussed for his policies, what is your opinion on Trump building that southern border wall as far as immigration goes?
Well, that is already law, and Congress passed that years ago, that there should be a wall there, and it just hasn't been implemented fully. There are sections of the border that have the wall. So I think he will move forward with trying to implement the law and building a wall where it makes sense. Sometimes there are other places on the border where maybe electronic surveillance or some other method may be just as effective. But I think the American people have spoken that they want to have security. And part of that is securing the border, but then also making a way for people to legally come here, because most of us here are immigrants and we appreciate them and want them to come here. We just want it to be done through legal means.
And you mentioned, how all of us are or descend from immigrants. Do you support his idea or his policies of possibly vetting Muslim immigrants or not allowing immigrants from terror-prone nations to come?
Well, in the House, I supported a bill that said that people who want to come here, who are refugees from Iraq and Syria, can't come until we thoroughly vetted them and feel confident that they are not terrorists. And I think that still needs to be the policy, because we know that ISIL is using the refugee process in order to infiltrate countries. And so until there is that thorough vetting system that we feel confident about, I think it is just wise to make sure that they don't come here and potentially terrorize our country.
So what would that vetting system look like?
Well, it is very difficult to vet these refugees because many of them don't have the paperwork that can document who they are and where they come from. And so our bill said that the director of the FBI and the Secretary of Homeland Security have to certify that this person is not a terrorist before they can come here. And that's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to do. So it will prevent them from coming here, at least for a while, until that system can be developed where those entities, those individuals feel confident that they are not terrorists and they don't intend to do us harm when they come here.
All right. So a bit of a topical question. I'm sure you've seen the news reports of the thousands of protesters taken to the streets after Trump's election. What is your reaction to that backlash?
Well, it's just very disappointing. I mean, every election you're going to have winners and losers, and just because you don't have your candidate win doesn't justify going out and rioting or causing property harm. So I think they should, if they break the law and they break windows or whatever, they should be arrested because that's not the American way. We decide things on election day by voting, not by rioting.
And as a member of Congress, how can you and your colleagues heal this national divide after this election where it was almost split 50-50?
I think it's important to listen, first of all, and reach out, and President-elect Trump has already done that. Says he wants to represent all of America, wants to hear everyone's ideas, and I don't think either party has a lock on all those good ideas. So that's where representative government comes in, and reaching out and listening to everybody, see if we can take the best ideas from everyone and incorporate them. So that's certainly what I think we should and what I'm going to be doing.